Hello and happy Thriving Thursday. Today let's talk about number 28 on the PA, Municipal Inspections. Today we continue our master class on the purchase agreement. Let's read number 28, Municipal Inspections. If a municipal inspection and/or certification of premises are required by local ordinance, state or federal law, or buyer's lending institution, seller agrees to pay for inspections. Seller agrees to complete any and all repairs required by municipality, provided repairs do not exceed blank. If seller does not complete all required repairs by municipality, buyer may assume the additional cost to complete repairs, or buyer may declare this agreement void. So this one can and has caused quite a few headaches, so it's important to be knowledgeable about it. So not all cities have a city inspection. So this is often called the certificate of occupancy or certificate of compliance. So us agents often refer to them as the C of O. If you aren't sure if the city requires one, you had better call the city and ask the building department, especially if it isn't a city you don't work in often. You should know if you are representing the buyer or the seller of the requirements of the city. So all cities are different. Some don't require one. Some require exterior only. Some only if it is vacant. And this can always change. So you always want to verify to make sure you have the correct information. Usually you also have to get a separate furnace inspection done from a licensed HVAC company. So number 28 is written saying that the seller will provide the C of O if the repairs cited aren't over X amount. So if you leave this blank, then the seller is responsible for all the repairs. I personally like to write in words, they're all repairs, seller responsible for all. But as we know, any blank on the PA can either strengthen or weaken your offer. So it is up to the client to let you know what they're willing to do so you can write the offer up accordingly. So a little info about C of O's for those of you that might not have to deal with them. The city charges anywhere from $190 to $300. So they have their inspector come out, and usually these inspections are good from 6 months to 1 year. So you want to make sure you time that accordingly. They'll then be provided with a list of ordinance violations that need to be fixed before the certificate will be issued. Now, the new buyer isn't supposed to move in and live there until these repairs have been made and the inspector has come back out to verify. Some lenders and title companies may even require them before closing can happen. When I list a house, I like to get the inspection done before it is even listed. That way the seller knows what the repairs are and if they are able and willing to do them, or if they want to ask the buyer to assume these repairs. So yes, the buyer can assume these repairs. It is always best to know what these repairs are before you accept an offer. This is when it can get messy, when the inspection is done after accepting the offer and then something comes back you weren't expecting. So it's not the best way to do it. So if the seller decides to not complete all of the repairs after they said that they would in the purchase agreement, the buyer can decide to assume them and complete the purchase, or the buyer can then decide to not buy the house and to get their deposit back. If the buyer does decide to assume the repairs, the proper procedure is for the buyer to go up to the city to get a temporary certificate of occupancy, sometimes called a closing letter. The buyer will have to sign an affidavit stating that they are aware of the repairs and they are assuming responsibility for them. Of course, there is a charge for this temporary C of O, and they start at around $40 and go up from there. The city inspection process does add a layer of work for the seller and the agent, but if handled correctly, doesn't have to cause a huge headache. As always, I'm here if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. I hope you continue to practice kindness out there. Have a wonderful weekend and a great, thriving Thursday.